Across the Village Media Network and now available wherever you get your favorite podcasts, this is Trillium Talk, a weekly look inside Ontario politics at Queen's Park with our team from the Trillium. Back with us this week is reporter Charlie Pinkerton. Good to see you, Charlie. Thanks for doing this.
No problem, Scott. Good to see you too. Always happy to end the week this way.
All right, Charlie, a few episodes ago, we talked about the town of Brighton and the lengths the municipality was considering to get some badly needed infrastructure funding, specifically setting out to find lobbyists that might be connected to the Ford government. Maybe give a little background for context, then we can pick it up with what you discovered with your FOI request.
Mm-hmm. So Brighton is, a rather small community on Lake Ontario in Eastern Ontario, not far from where I'm from, Kingston. So it's a little west of there. For a couple decades, it's had issues with ammonia levels really in its water. And so it's got this, sort of aging wastewater treatment plant that has really seemed to kind of be on its last legs. And so the provincial government has signaled that it could require all new development in the town of Brighton to be stopped if they don't upgrade the system. And so as a very small municipality, it faces some issues here because the cost that's been estimated to make the upgrades necessary is about $30 million or more. That equals the annual budget of Brighton. And so that's a problem in and of itself. Luckily for Brighton, a few months back, the province announced it would be providing a whole lot more funding than it already was to municipalities for these sorts of projects, which led Brighton, in the weeks before they had to submit their application for this funding to do just what you said, to try to find a lobbyist or lobbying firm, which is a bit of a rare step for a municipality. But in any event, it came to a meeting by its council in early May where the council most of the members voted to hire this lobbying firm. They were going to hire them for about $10,000 a month for up to 6 months. But that council meeting also sort of spelled the beginning of the end for this deal because of some comments that councillors made there. One of them said that, they said, put plain and simple, it's a lobbyist to work in the back room. We're not hiring them for their technical expertise. That was probably the most glaring of the comments, but there were many to that effect that, a few days later led to the lobbyist pulling out, led to this controversy reaching Queen's Park where the opposition jumped all over it. And it was just really a sort of a very big political deal in a very small community.
All right, that's great. I appreciate the background there. So then you file a Freedom of Information Act request to the municipality to get any councillor correspondence, and what you got back was eye-opening, to say the least.
Yeah, so it really put on display how this situation, this agreement between the municipality and the lobbying firm came together, and then as well how the fallout really landed. And so, one aspect of the meeting where councillors said some things that would quickly become regrettable, it does very much seem like they were saying the quiet part out loud. It was just weeks before that city staff were those who embarked on trying to find a lobbying firm. And it's very clear from the emails that they were looking for a firm with connections to the Ford government. They ended up favoring 3 firms that they felt had those connections. It also showed that the way they were originally referred, Atlas Strategic Advisors, the firm that they went with, was by way of the local planning director's wife, who is a board member with the Police Association of Ontario, so a body that represents a bunch of police. I think it's almost 30,000, I think. That body brushes shoulders with the Ford government from time to time. So that was, quite interesting connection there. And then, yeah, we very much saw from the emails as well that when essentially immediately after councillors said what they did at the very consequential meeting where they agreed to the contract, that one of the councillors in particular started researching the company, very much did not like what he saw. There was sort of a lot of shock and surprise and really chaos within the municipal government in the days that followed.
All right, so don't leave us hanging. Do you have an example or two that you can read for us?
Yeah, let me find some of the good ones here. So, one of the comments by one of the counselors who had started researching the firm afterwards said something along the lines of, "I don't think it's worth going this dark." He was trying to find ways to reverse the decision afterwards. Another of the counselors who was holding firm said, "I see absolutely no reason for us to revisit this decision. We hired a top gun in my view, so let them bring the heat to the province on Brighton's behalf." Let me see what else there is that was fun here. I guess I'll just, leave it there. But there were many, many comments in those hours and days afterwards that were quite interesting. And honestly, I felt sort of bad for this council that really seemed to not know what it was getting itself into.
And it's almost like, Charlie, councillors forgetting that correspondence like this becomes public record and very accessible if you know how to get it.
Yeah, well, I was FOI number 5 of the year to the municipality of Brighton. It's not a bit of a surprise to me that, they're not getting a lot of, freedom of information requests. But I'll just say that if anyone wants to find out what's going on in their local government, freedom of information system, it's quite handy.
All right. Good advice there. Finally, Charlie, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I would certainly be remiss if I didn't bring up your recent Michener Award win earlier this week. Can you talk about what it was for and maybe the sense of gratification for you, considering what it led to?
Yeah, so the Michener is, I think, viewed as the top prize in Canadian journalism. I'll at least claim that now that I've won it. So the work that I did was part of a package with the Toronto Star and the Narwhal. The Trillium, really only came to be after me and, my colleagues here had worked for a previous publication that we quit or were laid off from after it wouldn't publish the story that we were waiting to report on the Premier's daughter's stag and doe and wedding. Very complicated saga of events, as Scott, well, of course. But in the very short interim between us leaving our previous publication and working for, launching the Trillium with Village, I worked with the Toronto Star to help. They helped me to get out that story. And that fit into a package of very, very solid work by them and the Narwhal. That was all really about the Greenbelt scandal. And so, that was what we were nominated for. We won. That was really great. That happened last Friday. It was at Rideau Hall. It's a very regal event and sort of quite funny being there with a bunch of journalists because I don't think many are too self-serious. And so, it was just very nice. It's quite an honor, of course. And all the other work that was being recognized there was truly exceptional. A nice little cherry on top. And I told him this afterwards, but one of the, presenters of the award was James Baxter, who was actually the founder and owner of iPolitics when I was hired there. So that's the previous publication that I worked for. He sold the company a few months after I joined, but he essentially gave me my start in this business. I'll always be grateful to him and just like him a lot. So that was very nice to have him there too.
All right. Well, you're one of the best and very deserving of the honor. For the most comprehensive coverage of Ontario politics anywhere, log on and become a Trillium Insider today, and you can do just that at thetrillium.ca. Award winner and reporter Charlie Pinkerton. Thanks for this, Charlie. Have a great week.
No problem. You too, Scott.